Buyer requests are out of control and we need to talk about it. Hey everyone, Jess here. It's been a while, but it's time for another What Sold on eBay video. I really enjoy doing these and I hate when I miss them, but this will be for May 2026. And I'm going to try just a slightly different format where there's kind of a theme that I carry through the video while I show you some of my favorite items that sold. And this one is going to be about unhinged buyers. Like, I know I've been doing this a long time and we've always had our fair share of really bizarre people, mean people, just like strange buyers, odd requests that come down the pipeline. I have to say, it is more than I have ever seen, more frequent. I feel like out of every 10 buyer questions that I get on eBay, at least 4 of them are ridiculous, cruel, rude, misogynist, or worse. It's unbelievable. I mean, maybe we're just having a bad run, but I'm going to discuss it. And we're going to talk about some of the interesting things that I sold in May 2026. This is not going to be as long of a video as I would normally do because we only sold 147 items in May of 2026. This is down from 300 to 400 per month, which used to be the norm. Things are getting worse, folks. So let me share my screen and we'll get right to it. Okay, in case you're new here, by the way, I'm Jess, and I create content randomly and not on any particular schedule. That's all to do with our selling adventures on eBay, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, and lately BidRush, which is another great place that we love to have auctions. So I have a few items to go over with you that we sold this month, and I'm going to start with what I think is I'm pretty sure this is the biggest sale of the month. This is Invincible number 19. Comic books are kind of on the decline. They have been since sort of the end of the pandemic era. They're not having a heyday like they were a few years ago, but we still sell them. We still sell them really well. And there really are some good books out there to look for. So this one, Johan says he paid 25 cents for this book at a yard sale. And if we're going to be honest, neither of us are really all of that great at understanding modern comic books. It's not the part of comic books that we get or have a whole lot of interest in. So I guess when he bought these, he wasn't like quite sure what he was looking at and sort of picked some titles that he thought were like familiar and maybe had low print runs. And he got this one. And it's been sitting in our boxes for a while, like I feel like at least a couple of years. And I don't know why he decided to pull it out and sell it. But it didn't take long to sell, a couple of weeks, I think, maybe at 650 US dollars. And this is a great sale, actually, because, not just because we paid 25 cents for it, but we're talking about weird buyer requests or just like unhinged buyers. This comic book attracted some real jerks. I'm not going to lie. And I love comic book buyers. You're out there. Some of you are watching this. I love you. I appreciate you. People who collect comic books are a special kind of collector, and they tend to be really nice people, but not all of the time. So I had a couple of requests on this book to sell it for 500 or 525. I think the highest offer I got on it was 550. I did not have this open to best offers, was not open to best offers. I didn't want to take an offer on it because the last 10 sold comps were all between $600 and $700 US. And the ones that sold below $600 had significant condition issues. And this one did not. It is just about perfect, like almost flawless. So super frustrating. And I just had people like bugging me over and over again. And I'm like, look, I just listed it. I don't want to sell it for less. These are the sold values on it. I know that this is what the market is willing to pay. And then people would ask me things like, I said, why would I sell it for 550? And somebody was like, why would you ask such a dumb question? And I'm like, well, why would you make such a dumb offer? He didn't get it. This person did. And I certainly hope they're happy. It was delivered a couple of days ago. So moving on from there, I'm sharing this one just because old electronics can be interesting. I don't have any sort of dramatic story to share about this one. This is a very simple transactional purchase. I didn't even have a message at all with the buyer. And I wish this thing had been working. The old tube amps and tube radios and things like that, like I know that there are ways like you can like carefully turn them on and test them, and you can replace the tubes and do all the kind of things to make them worth a lot of money when they're in like really good working condition. The value of tube amps and tube radios goes up like almost exponentially. But we don't have the wherewithal or really the time or even the interest in selling things that have been serviced. So we like to sell things as is. And this one was not turning on because one of the tubes was broken. And so it just, I think it didn't even have, it might have had a light on it. That's it. So I sold it for parts. It only took a couple weeks as well to sell for 90 US. And this one came straight out of the garbage. So happy with this sale. Going back to unrealistic buyers. So if you've been watching my videos for a while or listening to the podcast, you know that like I went to selling on .ca when the tariffs came into effect, and then I moved back to .com and started focusing more on my .com listings. So this particular bag, it says made in USA, but I didn't do the Kuzma certification for it. And I guess because it contains, I don't know if it's because it's leather or what, but anyway, we put in the HTS code for it, and it was charging some duties, and they were quite significant on this bag. And so we decided to send it by UPS, which is what we've been doing. So since I've gone back to .com, if you know, I'm trying to continue to set reasonable pricing for shipping to the US, knowing that eBay is showing buyers multiple warnings that they can and will get charged tariffs and import duties and brokerage fees when items are sent to them, and just being comfortable with that. So if the shipping that I'm charging is not enough to cover the tariffs, sometimes depends on the item, like lower value items and tariff-free items and things like that. If it's not, we're going to send it UPS. And that's just what we've been doing. I do know that UPS charges a pretty high brokerage, and I think it's gone up a lot, like since the tariffs. I guess maybe they made some excuse about like the administrative costs being higher or something. So I know that they're going to charge this. I'm aware of it. The buyer should be aware of it. Maybe I should, but I don't take the time to warn every single buyer about this. So we sent it on, and the person wrote me and they said, why is UPS charging me whatever amount to import the thing? And I'm like, well, there's probably brokerage on it. And this was the HTS code for a leather backpack. And there are some duties that can't be avoided. And they were like, well, you should split the difference with me. And I'm like, that is not happening. I will not, and I've used this language before and I'll continue to use it, I will not be financially responsible for another country's government's impositions on its population. Never. I won't do it. And that's what I told the buyer. They were very mad. And they were trying to engage in an ethical debate with me about whether it was okay or not okay to send this by UPS. And once again, I'm like, each take up the ethical debate with your congressperson. This is not my issue. And they said, well, I'm going to just refuse the package. And I was like, go for it. Your buyer protection will be voided. So it did show delivered like 5 days ago. It does show that it was delivered. And to be honest, these backpacks are very expensive. This leather goods company is a pricey company. These are really good backpacks. This one was in fantastic condition. And even after paying the brokerage, they're still getting a price that's probably 60, 70% off retail. So I really don't feel like the buyer had a whole lot to complain about here. And maybe they were just surprised and didn't know how to handle it. But, like I said at the beginning of this video, these kinds of complaints, not just about tariffs, but about a lot of different things, prices and whatever, seem to be getting more frequent as of late. And sometimes it weighs heavy on me, to be honest. Here's another one. World Cup is starting. Oh, goodness. Starting here in Vancouver and in other host cities in just a few days. And I am not looking forward to it, but I'm very happy to take advantage of the renewed and heightened interest in World Cup items. I probably sold this for not enough money. I think I took an offer of like 40 Canadian on it. It's from 1994, the USA World Cup jersey t-shirt thingy. I had this in a 40% off sale, and it was actually listed at $36. And I was like, there's no way I'm going below that because it's vintage. World Cup is coming, like not happening. But I had best offer on it just because it had been listed for a while. And this if you're an eBay seller, it's a pain in the butt to turn off active offers or turn off like best offer if you're running a sale and then remember to turn it back on. So like I just don't bother. But every once in a while I get a buyer who's all mad at me because I won't go lower than my 40% off price. And that is what happened here. So this buyer was very upset that I would not go below $35.99. They again got into this whole argument about how I'm, I think they questioned my morals as a seller. Like, why are you putting best offer on an item if you're not going to take an offer? And I'm like, well, it's, World Cup is coming and I don't need to sell it for any less. And he's like, oh, I'm not buying it for the World Cup. And I'm like, you're in Los Angeles. Like, give me a freaking break. You're not buying it for the World Cup. Come on, leave me alone. Anyway, this went on for a while and I got sick of it. So I blocked them. And, I don't block a ton of people. I'm not super block happy. But lately, I'll tell you, because people will not leave me alone sometimes, I just block them. It's just, I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. And I'm also a person who doesn't back down from a conflict, so in another way, it also stops me from continuing to engage with people like this. So I block them. And then I relisted it. I changed the auto decline amount to a higher number and I relisted it and I raised the price. And then I got an offer of $40, which is just, just slightly higher than the sale price that I'd had it up for. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to sell it. I looked at the username. I'm like, not sure, but they were also in Los Angeles. So chances are it was the same person or a friend. But you know what? I went with it. I sold it. It's gone. I got my $40. It was an easy transaction in the end. If it was the same person who bought it, hopefully they just realized that maybe enough is enough. And I hope they're happy with it. So, okay, no drama in these sales. I just want to share them. I don't know if you've ever heard of Top Scoop. Tops produced all kinds of different trading cards way back in the 1950s. I guess, when trading cards were still kind of becoming like a new thing, or they would come in like your Cracker Jack box or whatever. But anyway, Top Scoop is a series of cards. I forget how many were in the series, 100 and something. And they were all like news headlines going back to like the beginning of the United States. And some of them, like most things, some of them are really valuable and some of them aren't. So we found these in the warehouse and I don't know where they came from. They've been in the warehouse for a few months, few years. I don't know, a long time, but there was this whole stack and I actually just sold, it'll be in like my next video for June. I actually just sold all the remainder of the lower value cards in a big stack for $360 US. So very happy about that sale. It'll be shipped tomorrow. But anyway, this was the most valuable one in the lot. This is number 127, the Flying Saucers card. Let me see if I can just show you the back of it. No flying saucers, so says Air Force. I don't know, maybe because of like Trump releasing UFO files or something's been in the news kind of lately. Maybe that's why this one has increased in value, or maybe it always was this valuable. I wouldn't know because I didn't know I owned it. We put it up, it sold in a few days, few days, maybe a week for full price, $250 US. And then along with it was this one, the Babe Ruth sets record Yankees card. There's the back. Babe hit 60. Baseball, sporting collectibles, that kind of memorabilia. Babe Ruth stuff is always going to be pretty valuable. And that went for $150. And I think that sold maybe like an hour after I listed it. So maybe I priced it a bit too low, but I don't care. Look at that, $400 US. And they say nobody has money anymore on just those two cards. And we sold some other ones for between $30 and $60. And like I said, the rest of the lot has already sold for $360. So this is a great find, just mining the warehouse for stuff and things that ended up getting pushed into nooks and crannies and we forgot about over the years. So that's pretty cool. Those are cool sales. I don't know why I shared this one. It's just neat because probably it was in the trash and it's brand new, almost brand new. Yeah, pretty much brand new. Le Creuset. Who throws Le Creuset in the garbage? This is good shit. It's good shit. It's heavy. It's heavy, this stuff. $90 though. I got full price. I charged an arm and a leg for shipping, so I guess it was worth it. Le Creuset is really expensive to buy at the store. So if you can get one in good condition, I guess, some people are willing to pay. I was always really happy. I'm always really happy to find this good enamelware. I don't use it myself. Let me know if you do. I'm not into cast iron and I'm not into enamelware cooking. I am into cooking, so maybe I should try it, but not my thing. Let me know what you think of cast iron. Do you think this was a good deal? Le Creuset, can you believe somebody threw this out? I'll never, ever get over it, what people throw away. Okay, I've got just two more. No, I'm going to share this one first because I just think it's cool. So this was out of a box of stuff. This was actually like there was like a small safe that we found in one of our trash picks. It was a small safe. It was locked. Didn't take a whole lot to open it, but you know we were like all excited when you find a safe. Oh, what's it going to be in there? You knew there's something, and you're shaking it, and you're like, it's lightweight. It could be jewelry. It wasn't. It was mostly paperwork, divorce papers and stuff. Kind of weird. But anyway, this was in there. Kind of neat. So from the BC Electric Railway, this railway operated, I know it operated in Richmond, BC, maybe also outside of that. I'm not sure. But this is an older one, I think from like the 50s or so. And this was like, you would wear this badge and then you could ride transit for free. I took an offer 85 Canadian on it. I was very happy with that. It's really cool. It's just a really neat old piece, and it has like that low employee number on it. So this was like a long time employee, probably one of BC Electric Railway's earlier employees. So I really love that sale. I'm just going to share one more with you. So I've probably mentioned before because we still sell lots of really good things from it. We had a huge garbage pick a couple of years ago that had a lot of jewelry in it. And we're still selling those pieces. These are a couple of the pieces. So Corite, it's like this Canadian company. They do silver and gold, and they use this amolite stone to make these really pretty pieces, like really quite lovely pieces. And everything in this jewelry collection was basically new. I mean, you couldn't tell it had ever been worn. I think the person was like addicted to like the home shopping network. So they just bought a lot of stuff and then they didn't use it, didn't wear it. I decided to sell this ring and pendant together because they looked kind of similar and I only had one box. So I put them together. If you go on the Corite website and look at what these things sell at retail, the prices are out of control. I took, I think, an offer of $350 on this, and this buyer actually bought a couple of other things, pieces of jewelry. They spent over $700 in total. So I was really happy with the sale. But then, like, I had the weirdest thing. So they actually opened a return request for this item. Not the other two that they bought, but just this one. And they said that it was cracked. Like, they said that the pendant was cracked. So, like, let's look. Like, I do not know what they're talking about. I do not see it. I don't see a crack. I don't see anything wrong with this. And they said they were open to return request. I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to have to ask you for like proof that there's a crack. Obviously there's not a whole lot, like, you know, when it comes down to it, if they open a return for item not as described, then that's what they do. And I have to pay for the return shipping. But I did want to show them that like I was suspicious that there was anything wrong with this item, because I'm quite sure that there wasn't. And I don't see any evidence of anything wrong with it in the photos. And certainly shipping is not going to crack a sterling silver pendant. Anyway, I asked them 3 or 4 times for evidence of this crack. They didn't provide it. So I went to Pirate Ship and I bought the return shipping label. And I don't have it back. Surprise. I sent the label about a week and a half ago. eBay gives an egregious amount of time for people to send back items. I think it's like 30 days or even 30 business. It's so long. It's so long. So they still have like some weeks to send this back to me. But I'm going to place my bet now and say that it's unlikely that this buyer is ever going to return this thing to me. So yeah, eBay buyers are a lot. And I have one for June. I was actually going to share it today. I have one for June that just happened yesterday. That was like the strangest thing. Like, not mean. I'll just tease you with that. Not mean, just freaking bizarre. And I will share that brief interaction in my next video. So that's it for me for the What Sold May 2026. Oh, hopefully June is better. Hopefully we sell more than 147 items. That was just eBay. We sold more on Poshmark and local, so we're still keeping it all going. But that's it for now. What did you sell on eBay this month? Leave a comment. Let me know. What was your favorite thing? See ya. Want more videos like this? Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to tell me what you want to see more of.